By the end of this video, you'll know why a shop full of readers can still be a shop full of nothing. Gorilla opened a bookshop. Not for money, for peace. He imagined mornings, soft light, the smell of old paper, customers whispering, "Excuse me," like they were in a church. Gorilla pictured himself behind the counter, sipping tea, reading quietly, occasionally handing someone a novel like he was blessing them. He thought this would be the calm business, the soulful business, the business where nobody yells, nobody negotiates, nobody sends angry emails at midnight. He was wrong. He was very, very wrong. Day one, a customer walked in, browsed for 2 hours, took photos of 6 book covers for later, asked if the shop had Wi-Fi, and left without buying anything. Gorilla smiled the whole time. Inside, something in his soul made a small cracking sound. He told himself, "This is fine. This is culture. This is community." By week 2, community had visited 41 times and purchased exactly 1 bookmark. Gorilla started doing the math nobody warns you about. A paperback costs him, let's say, $8 from the distributor. He sells it for $12. $4 profit. $4 before rent, before electricity, before the guy who just wants to check something quickly and reads the entire book standing in the aisle like it's a public library with better lighting. Gorilla began quietly identifying these people the way a park ranger identifies dangerous wildlife. Cue Gorilla, hidden behind a shelf, wearing an actual tiny pair of binoculars, watching a customer flip through a hardcover with the intensity of a man watching a bomb defusal. The customer is calm. Gorilla is not. The stakes to Gorilla feel enormous. The stakes to everyone else are a guy reading a book in a bookshop. This is the part nobody explains about small margins. You start treating tiny moments like national emergencies. A bent page corner feels like a small betrayal. "Can I get a discount?" feels like a hostage negotiation, and Gorilla is the hostage. He pictured himself as a small business owner. He did not picture himself as a man doing furious mental arithmetic every time someone touched a book without buying it. Then came the online competition. The same book, discounted, delivered to your door in 1 day, no small talk required. Gorilla could not compete on price. He could only compete on smell, ambiance, and the emotional experience of holding a physical object, which, it turns out, is a beautiful thing that pays absolutely none of the bills. People love the idea of bookshops. They post about bookshops. They photograph bookshops. They caption the photos things like, "This is my happy place." Then they buy the book later, online, for $4 less, from a warehouse the size of a small country, run by a man who has never once had to reorganize a local author's shelf by hand while crying a little. Gorilla started noticing a pattern. Foot traffic was high, revenue was low. His shop had somehow become extremely popular and slightly unprofitable at the same time, which is a very specific kind of modern heartbreak. Then came returns. Unsold books don't just disappear quietly, they pile up. Literally. Boxes stacked in the back room, each one labeled with things like overstock, didn't sell, and eventually, brutally, "Why did I order this?" The stack grew taller. Gorilla started balancing precariously on top of it just to reach a light switch, which is either a metaphor or a workplace safety violation, possibly both. Every unsold box was a decision he made with hope. Every unsold box was now just there, unread, untouched, judging him quietly from the corner. This is the stage where the chest beating starts. Not dramatic, not angry. Just a tired thump against his own chest. A small release, like his body needed to remind itself it was still alive after doing inventory. Bamboo sat untouched on the counter. Normally, Gorilla eats it slowly, calmly, like a small ritual. Now it just sits there. He picks it up. He stares at it. He puts it back down. Nothing tastes like anything when you're mentally replaying your rent number. Somewhere around month 4, Gorilla had the realization every small shop owner eventually has. He wasn't selling books. He was subsidizing everyone else's cozy aesthetic. He was the background character in other people's peaceful morning routines. The lighting for their photos. The vibe for their Sunday. The $4 profit margin funding somebody else's slow living era. And here's the part that actually hurts. He still loved it. That's the cruel twist. Despite the math, despite the boxes, despite the Wi-Fi requests, despite people reading entire chapters standing up like it's a public service, Gorilla still felt something real every time someone left with a book under their arm, actually bought, actually theirs. That feeling didn't show up on a spreadsheet, but it was there. Small, quiet, real. Eventually, Gorilla stopped fighting the identity of the shop and leaned into it. He added a small reading corner. He stopped resenting the browsers and started treating them like future customers instead of present threats. He raised prices slightly, apologized to no one, and let the math breathe a little. He kept doing inventory the same tired way, on top of the same tall box stack, except now he did it without flinching. Because here's the truth Gorilla eventually understood. A bookshop was never going to make him rich. It was going to make him tired, humbled, occasionally broke, and strangely fulfilled, all in the same afternoon. Modern business rarely gives you clean feelings. It gives you mixed ones. Profit and meaning don't always show up together. Sometimes you get one, sometimes you get the other. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you get both for about 11 minutes on a Tuesday, and you learn to live off that. Gorilla looked at the shop, the stack of boxes, the quiet browsers, the empty coffee cup. And for the first time in weeks, he picked up the bamboo, and it tasted like something again. Small, ordinary. His. And somewhere near the door, a customer walked in, phone out, ready to take a photo instead of buy a book. Gorilla didn't even flinch this time. He just smiled, picked up his binoculars out of habit, looked through them anyway, and slowly, quietly, put them back down. Some things you just let go.